Hello.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Christina.
I'm Ben.
We're going to talk about what's happening with van life at the moment.
It's non-van life at the moment.
Well, it is non-van life at the moment. So for those of you who don't know, we were planning to be leaving around about now for our trip around Australia. We're going to start heading up towards warmer weather and escape the cold of Tasmania. But the coronavirus has essentially put that on hold.
Yes, it's very annoying.
Ben is very, very upset about it.
I'm very upset. I'm almost devastated. I'm hanging on by a thread, I tell you.
So, what are we doing about van life, Ben?
Well, for the time being, we are staying here. We don't have a choice. But for the time being, we're staying here, so we're going to make the best of it. Doing things around the house to make it more appealing for us to stay here. It's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig, but it's
I don't know where you get these things from.
We're going to have a very glamorous pig at the end of it.
So there are a couple of reasons why we were planning on traveling in the first place. And one of which is that we wanted to be adventurous. We wanted to go and do something different. We'd been wanting to travel for a really long time and actually do a trip like this for a really long time. And we were just, becoming very aware that our older children are getting older. So it won't be long before they're off and doing their own thing, like, going off to study or building new lives, doing all that sort of stuff. So we were very aware of that. Another big part of that was this house. So the house that we currently live in has huge mold problems. And, every year we have to get rid of like curtains and things like that because they're full of mold. So the house is full of mold.
Yeah.
And that's a health problem. We have not yet invested in actually getting things like a dehumidifier, partly because we were like, well, we're going to leave, so let's just deal with what we've got right now. We'll just keep washing walls, we'll do all those sorts of things for right now. But now that we have to stay here and there is no limit on when the ban will be lifted, like there's no date in mind, they're saying things like 6 months, it could be longer, who knows. We can't leave in the middle of winter in here, it'll be too cold to even try and stay in the camper van over winter. So we will need to wait at least until the weather is warmer here in Tasmania before we can get back on the road.
So it's put on hold indefinitely at this point.
Because we're here indefinitely at this point, we don't know when it will end. What we're trying to do is actually make the house enjoyable to live in, because there's a lot of things that we haven't done. Like there was a new kitchen put into the house, but we hadn't actually moved any of our stuff into the kitchen because we were leaving.
Yeah.
Like it would just be another thing that we'd have to clean out. So now we're actually going through and we're putting stuff in the kitchen, making it more functional, which is why you're seeing more cooking videos from me, because I can actually cook in the kitchen. We're also doing things like getting a dehumidifier so that we can get rid of some of the excess moisture in the house to reduce the mold problem. What are we doing in the garden?
Well, we're probably going to plant out the garden beds so that we've actually got some garden beds. I remember you made an attempt at a rocket stove.
Oh, I haven't made an attempt. I made a rocket stove today.
You fully made a rocket stove.
I did. I made a rocket stove today.
Yes, it's actually the and we'll have a place to gather around, like the campfire or something like that. Just a few things to make things a bit more pleasant. And apart from anything else, I do actually enjoy gardening.
Ben actually has a certification in horticulture.
Yeah, I enjoy gardening just for the enjoyment of it.
It has worked as a gardener as well.
Yes, worked as a gardener. And yeah, I like being able to grow our own stuff. In previous houses, we've actually grown a lot of really, really quality vegetables. And I'd like to get back to that. It's just something that I like. And I was thinking I'm not going to get started on that because I thought we were going to leave. But Again.
We can't.
Again, we can't.
So, you know, it might turn out to be a good thing. It might turn out to just be something that's an annoyance for us. However, we're going to make the most of it. What we've been doing today is actually planning out some garden beds. We haven't grown a garden here previously. We've done little pockets of gardening, like I started growing out the front. The soil at the front of our house is not that great. So what we're seeing is from the grass that's growing in the backyard now, where the actual good quality soil is. So we're going to use that to plan out our garden beds. We're going to hopefully get some chickens so that we can get some eggs. I would like to get some miniature goats that we could milk.
I don't know if you're allowed to, but if we can, I'd like to get a goat because, you know, I'm kind of a bit quirky anyway. And, you know, saying that we have a goat, like, adds to that quirk factor, I think.
Well, goats are pets, right?
Yeah,
you can have pet pigs.
Why not?
I wouldn't want to kill our pet pig though and eat it.
No.
I don't want the goats to eat either. I actually just want the goats to you know, make milk. Like, if we could get milk, eggs and vegetables, we've been taking care of a huge part of our diets. And that's what I'd love to get to. I know when we first started gardening, there was this thing that I wanted to do, which was to work out how much do we actually need to grow to feed our family. Like, how many pumpkins in a year would we need to grow to be able to feed our family? Like, how many beetroots would we need to feed our family for a year, and all of that sort of stuff, and do the math on that. But also, I really like organic food.
Yeah.
And it's costly. Like, you know, if you want to buy organic food, it's actually quite expensive to buy. And we can grow it though. Like, Ben has got skills.
And it's very much spray free, and the pumpkins that we've had and the carrots that we've had in the garden, there's no comparison, especially with carrots, because you can just tell that these are good quality carrots, whereas the things that you get in the supermarket, they're tasteless, they're horrible. And, you know, we really only go to the supermarket anyway because that's sort of the way that we live, and it's not necessarily the way that we choose to live, I guess.
Yeah. And I want to add too, like, I wonder if for children, whether one of the reasons that parents find it hard to get them to eat vegetables is because they're consuming these ones from the supermarket, the conventionally grown ones that have got less taste and flavour in them than some homegrown ones.
Or it could be because I'm cooking them.
Well, for you, yes, if you're cooking. The kids don't want to eat anything he's cooking.
I had to go there.
You did have to go there. So the other thing for me that's really important is that I'm super aware that some of the other research that is coming out around the coronavirus and what the way people are managing it in regards to lockdowns and stopping people from being able to work is going to have a follow-on impact. So there is going to be some economic and some significant economic impacts that are going to take place. And so I feel that it's even more important for us to actually be growing our own food at this time so that we can, you know, reduce costs, but also be able to make sure that we can feed ourselves if things, and it doesn't mean that it will, but if things actually turn to that point where we are struggling for money, and money is hard to come by and all of that sort of stuff, that we actually can just feed ourselves as a pure basic.
The interesting thing about the coronavirus is that, like, a lot of people make fun of preppers. But when the coronavirus hit, they went, oh.
The preppers are all sad.
Well, and, yeah, they made fun of a lot of marginalised people in the crisis, and then they went, oh, these people might have a point. And look, really, you know, I suppose apart from travelling, if you were actually just staying at home, it's always good to be gardening because it's something that you for mental health, it's amazing, and for, you know, for your own physical health, and really, you know, you don't feel like time spent in the garden is wasted. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, it's a spiritual thing for me. You know, I often feel closer to the earth, closer to nature, closer to God. It's a very gardening has such a number of benefits.
Yeah. Along with, getting outside, getting vitamin D, if you're putting your hands in contact with the ground, you're actually getting some soil-based microbes there, which are fantastic for your gut health to actually help keep it strong and healthy and keep you well during the time of, sickness when you're under an immune attack. So it's good for all of those things of what Ben has mentioned, but also for your internal actual physical health and well-being. Anything else you want to add?
No, we're working on the inside, we're working on the outside, and again, just thinking to ourselves, just waiting and seeing what happens next, because really that's all you can do.
Yeah. I want to add that, there are two major things that I've wanted to do in my life. One of which is travel, and the other is to have a bush block, a huge amount of bush that we could just go in, chop down the trees that we want to use, and just, make stuff up. Have a go at making some furniture, have a go at making I'd love a little,
that would be cool.
I'd love a yurt. I'd love to live in a yurt.
That's so cool.
If you haven't learnt, I like to do things a little bit differently. But I'd love to just be able to do that sort of thing. And we have so much regulation and constriction that some of that is a bit hard to do. But if you have your own block, you could do that. That's been on our wish list for a really long time, is to get a block of land. And I don't mean 1 acre. I would really like 30, 40, 50 acres. Ultimately, one of my big passions has been for a really long time is to be able to create a health retreat where whole families could come and they could learn the skills to be healthy, like gardening, learning how to garden, learning how to make fermented foods, and learning how to cook foods that are going to be really healthy for them, learning how to do things like hunting, learning all of that sort of stuff. So I'd love to have 50 acres of land that is bush and has some cleared spaces where we could start building and preparing, but be able to essentially create this health retreat where families could come and stay together for a whole month and actually get some really solid foundations with looking after their health and managing their health, because it's been something for us that's been really important to learn how to look after your own health and treat and manage as many of your own health issues as you possibly can using herbs and nutrients, which of course is fully in alignment with being a naturopath and so on. And learn how to, feed ourselves in a really healthy way by utilizing what's already been given to us. I really love the principles of back to Eden gardening, which
permaculture as well.
Yeah, Ben loves permaculture. I love permaculture. So that would be our long-term ideal plan. That was kind of part of traveling as well. I had it in the back of my mind that we would travel around, explore and be adventurous, but also kind of keep in mind areas that would be really nice to live if we found a place. But I also want to be really close to a beach. So if you know anyone who's giving away 50 acres of land that's close to a beach, tag us in.
Just let us know. We can, we'd love to see it.
Yeah. So that's pretty much us in regards to traveling. We're still we're keeping the camper, we're keeping the swags, we're keeping everything sorted. The idea is that hopefully as the weather warms up here, and we hope that the travel restrictions and stuff lift, that we'll do a few short camps around Tassie and then see where we want to go from there.
Yeah, that's the basic plan.
Yep. So that's it for us, with a bit of an update of what's happening with travel life and van life. But in between, what you're going to see between now and when we could actually continue that journey is lots of gardening, lots of cooking, lots of self-sustaining type of stuff. More of HCG, because we're using this time as well, again, to actually make sure that we are in the best health that we can be in. Yeah. So we're eating our way healthy. So that's more of what you're gonna see. If there's other things that you'd like to see, let me know. Put it in the comments, because I'm so happy to do some of those videos for you. But we'll give you a garden tour of our before space, and show you as we go along some of the things that we're doing to improve our garden, to be able to create some food here and a little bit more sustainability. Good. Anything you want to add? Okay, this is our garden bed at the moment. This is what we've got currently growing. It's a mixed bed. There's so much stuff in here. A lot of this was actually just what came up in the compost. You can see just in there some silver beet and stuff growing. We've got mallow there that needs to be pulled out, but I can harvest that and use that for herbs. We've got some pumpkins here. We've got some tomatoes still growing in here, and I'm going to leave them to go for as long as they will. This is a broccoli leaf, so we'll let that go. There's some cabbages going to seed over there, so I'll collect those seeds and use them to regrow some more food. This is where we've been kind of putting our compost, which is why it looks so good. Then what we want to do is along this fence line, we want to put fruit trees all the way up that fence line. Then from the house to that fence, we want to build a little bit of a fence there that we can put chickens in, so that the chickens will be in that area. Right there is kind of where we're thinking that we'll put in a sort of fire pit. And then the swags are up still over there. That's my rocket stove that I built today. That cement block, that's where we'll probably, I'm thinking I'm going to use that for propagation. Then here you can see I've used a hose to kind of tape out this area. This area I want to use for growing herbs, specifically like medicinal type herbs and culinary herbs. That's my goal. So this will be, we'll put in laying bricks over here so that we can walk on them to get to that tap. And what we've started doing is actually putting some plants in these pots. So we've got a tomato there. It was just in the garden, so we let it go. We'll see what happens. It probably won't make it that much longer because we'll soon get frosts. But these are radishes, and there's some other lettuces that are starting to grow in here. A lot of these are lettuces. Some of these need a little bit of weeding. And then we've got this big pot over here that's got some beans growing in it. It's got some beetroot in here. And we'll see what comes out of this. I think there's some lettuce and stuff in here too. So that's our garden at the moment. Give you a good full view. There's the rocket stove. The swags are up. Ben's just giving them a good air out before he really packs them away properly. There's his hammock. The garden that I just showed you is over there. That's where the little pit is that we're thinking of. And then of course this is going to all be turned into a herb garden. Herbs is what I want in here. Hang on, Trilla. And then, turn that all in. And then we want to reclaim as much of this as possible for either play or production. That's the goal. All right. I hope you enjoyed this, and you will see more as we start growing. Great. Well, we will say bye for now, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
See you later.
I need to edit that bit out.
Okay.
Not keeping that in there. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe. Leave us some comments and let us know what you'd like to see more of. All right, bye for now. Have an amazing day. Catch you next time.